If you go to YouTube right now and search for a channel called Benjamin Bennett, you'll find something that on the surface seems almost boring. A man sits cross-legged on a wooden floor. He stares directly into the camera and he smiles. That's it. That's the entire video. Except each video is 4 hours long and there are over 300 of them. Benjamin Bennett has been uploading these sitting and smiling videos since 2014. And he's never once given a clear explanation for why he does it. In interviews, he has said things like there isn't a purpose and that his inbox is full of people asking why. Now, on its own, this is strange but not necessarily disturbing. In his 5th video, about 2.5 hours in, you can hear someone enter Benjamin's house. This is unusual because his roommate is at work. Benjamin realizes he forgot to check if the doors were locked before starting his stream. You can hear footsteps. Someone is moving through the house. Then they start climbing the stairs. Getting closer to his room, the door opens. An unfamiliar male voice says, "Hello." And Benjamin just sits there, smiling, motionless, staring directly into the camera with a fluorescent bulb lighting him from below. The intruder sees this. A man sitting perfectly still, smiling, being filmed. And he immediately leaves. He just turns around and walks right out of the house.
What?
This video has over 8 million views, and honestly, I don't blame that burglar for leaving. If I broke into someone's house and found them doing that, I would assume I had stumbled into something I wanted absolutely no part of. In his 50-second video, around the 2 hour and 47 minute mark, Benjamin visibly urinates himself. You can see a wet puddle seeping out from under him and gradually evaporating over the course of the remaining footage. Weirdly, he never acknowledges it and never breaks character. He just keeps sitting there while smiling. And then there are videos 238 and 257. Where Benjamin spontaneously bursts into tears multiple times. Nobody knows why. He just suddenly starts crying, loses composure for a moment, then goes right back to sitting and smiling. A comment below the video said that something tragic happened to his family, which he can't talk about. As of right now, Benjamin Bennett has over 380,000 subscribers. He's been doing this for over a decade, and he shows no signs of stopping. Actually, the most disturbing thing about his channel isn't the incidents that occurred, but instead the dedication. The commitment to doing something that serves no apparent purpose for thousands of hours over many years. It makes you wonder what's actually going on inside this man's head. Though in a later video from his walking and talking series, where he walks and talks in nature, he does attempt to explain it, but a lot of people didn't really get what he meant. Take a look at this.
I could go ahead and explain everything, or try and explain everything, which is, the most common request. Everyone wants me to explain why I make these videos. I don't know why it is that I can feel so just like happily empty when I'm doing this, but I'm sure that it has to do with the repetition and the duration. You repeat this framework over and over again for a long time and it becomes smooth enough to see through it more clearly. You know what I'm saying? You limit your activity, you limit the parameters of your experience. While I do think that pretty much every single video that I have made could be considered a complete explanation of why I make them already.
Also, his content seems to have diversified quite a bit, if that's the right way to put it, since he's been uploading things like this. And this clip in particular has disturbed a few of his viewers.
I see you in there. I see the little you inside. You're right in there through your retina. That's where you are. Through that little peeper hole. That's the window into you. I see you in there. I see that little homunculus. I see the little tiny you inside your body. I see you there, hanging out inside The skull inside your skull, looking out through the holes.
Let's talk about something a bit different, because not everything in the dark corners of YouTube is depressing. Some of it is just genuinely surprising. On April 13th, 2011, a brand new YouTube account uploaded its first video. The channel was called Ivan0135, and the video was titled Disclosure Leaked UFO Alien Case Video. Confidential documents old footage. The clip opens with a still frame of a KGB logo. Then we see what appears to be vintage black and white footage, complete with film grain, scratches, and that distinctive clicking sound of an old projector. We see a house with a mysterious object hovering behind it, a saucer-shaped UFO filmed from an aerial view, a crashed spacecraft with an alien lying on the ground nearby. And then we see him, Skinny Bob. Skinny Bob appears to be exactly what decades of science fiction have told us an alien should look like. A grey, massive head, enormous black eyes, an incredibly thin body with spindly limbs. He sits in what looks like some kind of interview room, occasionally blinking, his head moving slightly as if he's conscious and aware of the camera. Over the next month, Ivan would upload 3 more videos, each one containing additional footage, an alien autopsy, and perhaps most intriguing of all, a group of aliens walking toward the camera in full color film. And then, nothing. The account went silent. Ivan never responded to comments, never uploaded anything else, and never explained where this footage came from. To this day, the account remains on YouTube, a time capsule frozen in May 2011. Now, let me be clear, this is probably fake. Aliens probably didn't crash on Earth and get interviewed by the KGB. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that after 14 years of analysis, nobody has been able to definitely prove it's fake. CGI experts have examined this footage extensively. The overall consensus is that if this is computer generated, it would have required a budget of over $100,000 to produce in 2011. That's not pocket change for a hoax that the creator apparently has no interest in monetizing or taking credit for. Some people believed it might be an animatronic puppet, but that would also require a substantial budget and a team of skilled puppeteers. The way Skinny Bob shifts his posture, looks down when his height is measured, blinks naturally. It's remarkably well done. A lot of people noticed that the fabric has a woven pattern not found in any known Earth material. Reflections in Skinny Bob's eyes have been studied for clues about the room and people behind the camera. And through all of this, Ivan has said nothing. That's what makes this so strange. If this was a hoax, if someone went through all this effort to create convincing fake alien footage, why not take credit? Why not monetize it? Why not at least respond to the millions of people who have watched and discussed your work? There are no t-shirts to buy, no Patreon link, and not a single documentary appearance. In 2011, when this was uploaded, producing something of this quality would have required a full production crew. Multiple people would have to know how this was made, and yet in 14 years, not a single person has stepped forward to claim credit. This has led some people to wonder, what if it's real? I'm not saying I believe that. I'm saying I understand why some people do, because the alternative, that someone created an incredibly elaborate, expensive hoax and then just abandoned it, is almost as hard to explain. So for now, the mystery of Skinny Bob remains unsolved. Let's talk about one of the strangest broadcast hijackings in history. On November 26, 1977, viewers in southern England tuned into their evening news on ITN when something very strange happened. The newsreader's audio was suddenly replaced by a deep, distorted voice. The voice claimed to be someone, or something, called a villain, a representative of something called the Astro Galactic Command. For 6 minutes, this voice delivered a message to the people of Earth. It warned humanity to remove all weapons of evil and to embrace what it called the Age of Aquarius. It spoke of how Earth was entering a new age of existence, and that humans needed to learn to live together in peace.
This is the voice of the representative of the Astro Galactic Command speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as knights and experiments. We speak to you and kiss and explain as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this your planet Earth. We come to know the destiny of your race and your world so that you may connect to your fellow beings across the take to avoid disaster that threatens your world and the beings
Hundreds of viewers called the station in a panic. Some people genuinely believed they were receiving a message from extraterrestrial beings. The police launched an investigation, and they never found out who did it. What makes this so impressive is how it was accomplished. Southern Television used a microwave signal to transmit their broadcast, and somehow, someone managed to override that signal for 6 full minutes without being caught, unlike the later Max Headroom incident in Chicago, where someone with relatively accessible equipment hijacked a signal for 90 seconds. This actually required knowledge of how microwave transmissions worked and access to equipment that could override them. Some have speculated that the perpetrators were connected to the Raelian UFO movement, because Vrillin sounds suspiciously similar to the name of the movement's founder, Claude Vorillon, but this has never been confirmed. The statute of limitations has long since expired. The perpetrators, whoever they were, got away with one of the strangest broadcast hijackings in television history. And we are left with this bizarre recording of a distorted voice claiming to speak for an alien galactic federation. So is it real? Almost certainly not. But whoever did it, they committed fully to the bit, and that's kind of admirable. Let's move on to something different. In 2006, a filmmaker named David B. Earl uploaded a short film to YouTube. It was only about a minute long, and it was called Dining Room or There Is Nothing. A woman sits at a dining room table. The camera pushes in. The woman doesn't react. And then the video loops. It loops again and again. The entire piece is constructed as an infinite loop, each iteration getting slightly more distorted, slightly more unsettling. This video has over 10 million views, and unlike a lot of early YouTube horror, it wasn't designed to go viral. There's something about the endless repetition, the lack of any payoff or jump scare, that gets under your skin in a way more conventional horror can't. This is what sets some YouTube horror apart from fictional creepypastas. It doesn't really try to be scary, it's just uncomfortable. And speaking of uncomfortable, let's talk about an advertisement that has somehow outlived the company it was made for. In 2012, a real Philadelphia ice cream company called Little Baby's Ice Cream released an advertisement. It was directed by Doug Garth Williams and cost only $3,500 to produce. Within 48 hours, it went from 0 to 2 million views. The commercial shows a performer named Asa Scheib. They're sitting at a table, covered entirely in what appears to be white ice cream, though it was actually marshmallow cream for practical purposes. Their expression is blank, and they're eating ice cream directly off their own head with a spoon. Take a look at this.
Go ahead and lick something. We lick you very much. If you want to lick something, lick us. We love to lick. We lick to love. We are love lickers.
And there's also this.
There's good reason for my glistening skin, and how I shine, and how my pores are so clean and clear.
The head dent effect, where the spoon appears to carve directly into their skull, was created using After Effects warping, but knowing that fact doesn't make it any less unsettling to watch. This ad was never meant to be creepy. According to the creators, it was supposed to be playful and memorable. It was supposed to make you want ice cream. Instead, it became one of the most famous disturbing videos on the internet, regularly appearing on lists of creepiest commercials ever made. Little Baby's Ice Cream closed its doors in 2019, but their commercial lives on. Now, with over 21 million views, the advertisement outlived the brand. The disturbing content proved more durable than the actual product it was selling. Now, let's go back to 2008, to one of the original creepy YouTube videos. One that played on our fears about the platform itself. A Japanese creator who goes by Nana825763 uploaded a video called Username 666. The premise was simple but effective. What happens if you try to visit a YouTube channel that doesn't exist? What if you kept trying? The video shows someone repeatedly typing 666 into YouTube search bar. Each time the page glitches out more and more. The interface starts to corrupt. Strange images appear. The YouTube logo warps and distorts. Eventually, the entire screen becomes a nightmare of visual artifacts and disturbing imagery. It's not real, of course. Nana is known for making surreal horror content. Their channel switches between genuinely disturbing videos and wholesome content about their ant farm. But username 666 tapped into something specific to the era it was created in. In 2008, YouTube still felt new and slightly mysterious. The idea that there might be hidden, forbidden content buried somewhere in the platform, content that could corrupt your screen and show you things you weren't meant to see, felt realistic in a way it doesn't today. This video has over 17 million views. It spawned countless imitations and helped establish an entire genre of cursed YouTube content. And while we now know it was just creative editing by a skilled horror filmmaker, there's still something unsettling about watching it. It makes you experience the old internet, a place with dark corners you could accidentally stumble into. Let's talk about Reddit for a moment. Because while YouTube has its share of mysteries, Reddit had one that lasted for 5 years and was never solved. In 2011, a Reddit account appeared with the username A858DE and so on, every day, multiple times a day. This account would post seemingly random strings of hexadecimal characters to its own subreddit. The internet tried to figure out what it meant. A subreddit called r/solving A858 formed, eventually growing to over 20,000 members, all dedicated to cracking the code. And occasionally, they succeeded. One early decoded message simply spelled out, "Mark Twain wrote the adventures of Tom Sawyer." This confirmed that the posts weren't random. They were definitely encoded messages. But what were they for? In August 2015, the creator of A858 appeared for cryptic AMA, an Ask Me Anything thread. They answered questions, but only in the vaguest possible terms. When asked about the purpose, they only said that A858 will end when the purpose is disclosed or discovered. People speculated endlessly. Was it a number station, a recruitment tool for some shadowy organization, an elaborate art project, a test of some new encryption method? Well, nobody really knew. On March 29, 2016, the subreddit posted a final message. The project has concluded. And then it went private. The purpose was never revealed. 5 years of posts, thousands of encoded messages, tens of thousands of people trying to solve it. It's one of the most frustrating internet mysteries because there's clearly something there. Someone went to enormous effort to create this. The messages were real encoded text, not random garbage, but we'll likely never know what it was all about. I want to end on something genuinely disturbing, and certainly not creepy in a fun, spooky way. In 1996, a man named Ricardo Lopez spent months recording himself on video. He spoke directly to the camera about his obsession with the Icelandic singer Björk. He shaved his head and painted his face. He built a letter bomb containing sulfuric acid, which he intended to send to her. On the final tape, Lopez made the bomb, and then, on camera, did S-word. The tapes were discovered by police after neighbors reported a smell coming from his apartment. The bomb was intercepted before it reached Björk, who was unharmed, but the tapes, all 22 hours of them, existed. Portions eventually leaked online, and they contained really disturbing things. Benjamin Bennett is still smiling. The skinny bob footage is still unexplained. And somewhere, on some hard drive or server, the Björk stalker tapes still exist.